Hello beautiful Pisces, welcome back to Intuitive Energies. My name is Jane and today we're going to be doing another need reading. Now if you're brand new to this and it's the first time you are here for this, I'm going to explain to you what the need reading is. NEED is an acronym for Needed Empowerment Enlightenment Discovered. I kind of came up with this just on the fly because October was a really hard month. We're integrating back into energies and energies are coming back to us and we're having a hard time adapting into this. So instead of like focusing again in November about the ups and downs of how emotional we are getting by trying to adapt back into society, into situations, whatever that may mean for you, I wanted to focus more on how I could empower and enlighten you and make your load better by focusing on yourself and your perspective and how to make everything feel better and just to help Pisces, okay? So the cards for this week that came out, the oracle cards for me, I used from the White Witch's Tarot, the Devil came out. And then right after from the Queen of the Moon Oracle is Purity. So this showed to me exactly the black and the white of the situation, right? Is that what they say, the black and the white? So the Devil is the traps and the darkness that we like to we don't like. But sometimes, you know, I think it's the familiar where we get stuck, where we just roll around over and over again. And the Purity card is saying that with the snow coming in probably November, December, of the darkness that comes in November, especially in these parts of the world where we have snow here, once autumn colors have disappeared, the land becomes gray, the days become short, and it becomes a little bit hard to stay in the light. The snow offers clarity as well as the moon because it is shining from both sides. It reflects off the ground and to the ground, and it brings us a real relief of the darkness when it does come. So the purity of the snow is like putting a fresh outlook and perspective on this, and today that's what we're going to be talking about. Now when I pulled one card every day to talk about this card and what it wants to represent or make us look at. I pulled this from the Deviant Moon. Is a deck that I only use during Halloween usually, and this deck is usually very dark. It does have a very I would say a darker theme to it, a little bit sometimes gory, a little scary, a little bloody. But the Queen of Swords came out, and I think that's perfect. The Queen of Swords in normal decks usually only has one sword, but this one has two. And I'm also be using the book, the Tarot Activity book, to help me with these, I guess you could call them exercises. But the one exercise that I took is negative positive is what it's called in the book, and I'm going to read a little bit for you so that you can see the point of where I'm going with this. Okay, it's to make you understand that things are not always as they seem. I'm going to paraphrase here because I don't want to do it like, you know, it's going to take too long and take away from your reading, Pisces. But there's an old Zen story that goes like this about an old farmer who's been working his crops for many years, and one day his horse runs away, so the neighbors come and they go, "Oh, that's such bad luck," and the farmer replies, "Maybe." And then the next day the horse comes back with 3 wild horses, so the neighbors go, "Oh, what good luck," and he says, "Maybe." The day after that, his son rides one of the untamed horses, gets thrown, breaks his leg, and the neighbors go, "Oh, what bad luck," he says, "Maybe." After that, the military officials come back the next day and they're trying to draft young men, but his son's leg's broken, so he gets passed by, and the neighbors say, "Oh, what good luck," and he says, "Maybe." So what this is talking about is the black and white thinking of when we receive, and it's funny that I said that, right? The black and white, that something is either completely good or completely bad. Having this kind of polarizing perspective means that we see the world in absolutes and there's no middle ground. And if you guys know me, you know I'm all about the middle ground. Okay, we have too many definitions today, too many words to set up boundaries to stop us from being who we're supposed to be. So for example, always versus never, good versus bad, right versus wrong, smart, stupid, success, failure, strong, weak, useful, useless, okay? So this is an oversimplifying of things. So, because such as that story demonstrating, nothing is necessarily good or bad. It all depends on the context of the situation. And with the clarity provided by the passage of time and experience, we learn that life is probably more complicated and ambiguous than we first believed. So what they're suggesting as an exercise is to get a card, okay, that does not resonate or vibe with you. And for whatever reason you don't like it. So I find that for this deck, a lot of people don't especially love this deck because the faces are very, they're very stern, and the just the bullseye eye is enough to, make you go, ugh. I love this deck because I find that all imagery represents a beautiful way of giving a fresh message on everything. But, okay, what I want you to do is to look at this card and think of the ways that you do not like it. I really want you to look. Like for myself, I look at it, I see blood at the end of the sword, and blood all over the ground, and I feel that maybe she's poked at somebody and hurt somebody, and even the moon here is kind of like gray and dirty of face. The background is dark and the trees have lost all their leaves. Her dress looks like there's an armor and not much room for anything. So if you look at it this way, you can think to yourself, I really don't like this card, don't resonate with it. Even the yellow around her head seems like it's muted, like it's hiding the light that's trying to come through. Okay, so but then they say if you have looked at this card and found the things that you don't like, which I've clearly told you what I don't like about it, they say spend some time studying it, look at it with soft, gentle eyes. Your goal is to think of a situation in which the negativity of the card could actually become a positive force. Okay, so they want you to write it down, or in this case, you could write it down in the comment section. I'd love to hear how you can switch it to interpretive in a different perspective. Okay, so I'm just going to look at it for myself and let you know. First thing I notice from this card is that she has a tear rolling down her face. Now, I know from the past and I know from the meaning of this card that the Queen of Swords has gone through a lot in her life and has suffered a lot of loss. The blood on the sword could mean that she's been through battles, and from the tear in her eye, probably because she didn't want to but felt the need to have to do it, and that she's built that armor and that around herself so that she doesn't get hurt again. She holds the other sword straight up like in the justice to say that she's tried to be fair in her life and tried to do the best that she can. And even though that the light is muted around her head, she's really trying to bring the light back. And she still sees the moon, even though the face is dirty and sometimes it's hard for her to see. She still tries to follow her inner intuition, okay? So this is how I've softened this card and feel more of a connection to it. My heart feels pain now for this card and sympathy and compassion. And I feel that I've gotten more out of this, okay? And I feel hope for this queen, that one day she has a little bit still open here. That, in other words, there's still a chance for her to get this vulnerable, beautiful soul that is within her, to let it back out, okay? That the veil that is over her eyes will be lifted and she'll be able to smile again. I wanted to take another card from another deck to get a perspective, and I got the Queen of Feathers out of my mom's deck, which is the Spirit Song deck. And from it, I have the Queen of Feathers, and look at what it's written: perception and truth. So your perception becomes your truth, Pisces, okay? They have the bat here. How appropriate is that with Halloween? Just I've gone by a couple days before that. The bat is here, first of all, for representing. Bats are always represented as scary things, but they're actually our friends. They're great friends. We have bats here, and they hunt the mosquitoes. They eat like a body weight full of mosquitoes, and that alone, I love them. And they're also very perceptive, because in daytime their eyesight is very, very bad, so they work on noise and bouncing noise off of things. So that perception, their hearing, is probably very, very good. And so it's saying that your senses, when you have to look at things in a different way, or look at things through the way you hear it, your perspective changes. I love the synchronicity in all of this. This is just explaining to you how you can change things in your life, okay? It's all about perception. So I'm going to pull a few more cards here, Pisces. I hope that this is helping you. I'm going to put the link to the Tarot Activity book, because I find that a lot of it can be applied for this or anything else that you might be working with right now. Okay? I'm going to be working a lot with it this week. And yeah, I'm very grateful for the author, Andy Master, who came up with this, because I find that this is really, it could help a lot of people. Tarot is very therapeutic. Okay? The Two of Crystals, balance and adaptability. Beautiful. So this is the Two of Pentacles, okay? This is the lighter side of things, explaining to you that these two interpretations, you can see things as bad or see things as good, okay? It's all within you. So in moving into the new year, Pisces, okay, with these need reads that I'm doing right now, this is to help you see things in a better perspective, okay? Not only to walk away from things that don't feel good or are bad for you, because sometimes it's downright bad, but when you're out of the situation, you can get a perspective. Maybe you can see it in a different way. Even the worst of conditions can have something that for you and gain wisdom from, okay? Even if the wisdom is to never be in that situation again, it is still a perspective that helps you move forward and stops you from making the same mistakes over and over again. All right, Pisces, let's see here. The Ten of Shells, which is the Ten of Cups. So this is blessings and well-being. So all of this work, everything that you're doing between the dark and the light, this is to also bring in gratitude and a sense of well-being, so that you don't stay stuck in the negative energies that come in. The name of this exercise for the book was Negative Positive. So this is what it's talking about. You want to spin things and not stay in the negative. It's okay to pinpoint and say there's certain things here that are like deal breakers. I have those too, okay? But sometimes it's good to look at the deal breakers and dissect them a little bit, put them back together, and know why they're deal breakers, why you're not inviting them back in your life, and what's the wisdom that you picked up from it, okay? Sometimes it's simply seeing people for the benefit that they brought into your life, okay? Even if they did something bad, what was the benefit of that? What did it bring you? Okay? What did it make you realize and see? Okay, so this card went far away. Let's see. You have the Chariot. Discipline, determination, right. So, I do feel that sometimes the way we've been taught, the conditioning that we have, has taught us to be a little bit like of hard nose, okay? We do have a discipline. We're determined to make things work. But because the card went flying away from me, I feel that maybe putting and it's the Chariot, a drive and a momentum and a going somewhere. I think that maybe putting a little bit of distance between you and the situation helps you get as well a better perspective on things, okay? If you're too close to it, if you're like staring down your nose at it, such as this, okay? If you're always like cross-eyed looking at this horn, you might be seeing things a little bit skewed. So put a distance, the chariot, the wheels, the cart, as the card went far away from me. It's like put it more into perspective for yourself by pushing it a little further away so that you can see what's there. Okay? Are you seeing the full picture is what I'm asking here. Okay? The chariot's also there to remind us, especially number 7, it's an assessment of the situation. Not only an assessment of the situation, it's just taking a good look at it. And I love the sun came out, vitality and joy. So by doing all of this, you're shedding a light. You're shedding a light on the situation, okay? Here's that right underneath the purity card, which makes sense, okay? So the snow, it's like your light, the sun will be reflected off the ground and back up. And that's going to cause like even more light to come in, okay? The snow reflects. It's like the moon. It reflects the light, okay? And then it doesn't shine its own light, but it sure feels that way because it is light. Okay, and it does what it needs to. It puts a great big shining light of understanding on the situation. It shines into all the dark corners. So it brings a lot of clarity to the situation, and that's all we're trying to do here. So that you can look at things from all viewpoints, all the time, regardless what it is. My father's going, think before you speak. Well, actually, it's more like think intuitively, think spiritually, think all around energetically before you speak, okay? Let all of the alignments come in for you before you do anything, before you respond humanly to things, okay? All right, so I'm going to pull one more card. And then later we're going to come back and we're going to let Spirit put their 2 cents in. Although this is a Spirit reading, but in the second reading I kind of sit with the energy and then I kind of just let them take over, okay? And this one, well, you have the reader in me as well. The Knight of Feathers, action and focus, okay? So what I get from this, though, Pisces, with the Knight is action and focus, is that sometimes we are so focused on the things that we've been taught to believe and see that we really move quickly into the situation. And we think we have the focus on it, but we're rushing in. It's too fast. So it's not the Hermit, because it is kind of the Hermit, but it's getting a little more insight on the situation, okay? It's not jumping to conclusions like we would if we look at this card and go, well, I don't like it, okay? It's asking you to take another look instead of jumping right away on that, okay? You have the Four of Feathers. Sanctuary and rest. Right. So this is about recovery and rest. You have the bear taking a nap, which is appropriate for this time of the year. The bears are all hibernating right now. So this is a perfect time in these months that are coming, Pisces, to do this kind of work as well on yourself. Not only will it help you, but it will empower you to move forward in the new year when you really fully immerse yourself back into life and all the energies around you. Okay, so this is a good time. It's not really hermit mode, it's work mode, but it's recovering maybe from that first initial out there where you went out and, you know, you came back in a little bit disillusioned, okay? But it's okay. The situation, just take one step at a time, take your time, get plenty of rest in between. You're going to recover, and through these exercises, I feel it's really going to help you move forward, okay? And that's what Spirit wants. They want you to move forward. They want to help you find your footing, okay, in your energy. I want you to use your energy and all your knowledge to move forward. Sometimes it's hard to remember, right? So again, the Ace of Feathers is about clarity and foundation. And it's about breakthroughs as well. So it's perfect. Clarity, 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 okay? You have all these three cards. They're really synchronistically kind of all stacked together, which makes perfect sense. So, yeah, you have mental clarity, but you also have spiritual clarity here. And you do need your mind at this point. I'm really hearing that you're going to need your mind, because all these exercises that you're doing, you first assimilate it through the mind and then you let it sit inside the energies, okay? Don't get stuck in your mind. Don't get stuck in the way that you're thinking or the past ways that you're thinking. Really work the mind to help you get a perception inside of your energies. So this is how you use your mind as a tool to help you grow at this point. Okay? So work on those breakthroughs. Okay? Get some rest and recovery, and don't go rushing too fast into things without really thinking them through or seeing the different perspective of things. All right, so I'm going to come back later on. I'm going to do the extended if these readings really interest you, and I hope that they do. I hope that these would be good for anybody, not just you, Pisces. Just share them with somebody, if you will, like let them know that for the next month or so, this channel is going through some stuff to try to help people find better energies and better alignment to help them in the upcoming year. Take care, Pisces. I'm going to send you lots of love, light, and blessings, and I will see you for the extended later on.